Good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. This is Football Connect on the Nation TV. I'm your host for today, David Bolarinwa, and you know how we do it on the show. I have my in-house analyst with me, Mr. Adedamola Ogunbenwon. Mr. Adedamola, please say hi.
Yes, thank you, David. It's good to be here.
All right. Just as we've started last week, we have an external guest, someone with much in depth in the area of sports, and today we are bringing Mr. Ebuka Ezeobika Peter, Ebusman, as he's fondly called. Please say hi.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, any place you are watching from. David Bolarinwa, thank you very much. My name is Ebusman. Thank you for having me this afternoon.
All right, let's go knee deep into what we have here for today. It's been the Champions League season, and yesterday the mighty fell, and even if they closed the stadium, they were still cooked by rice, or they were tapped rice in the very hot stadium. And that was talking about Real Madrid in the stadium of Bernabeu, where Arsenal toppled them again in the second leg 2-1. And the Champions League is what we'll be talking about today, and we have good analysis here for you on the show. Taking it to a brief man. First off, we are just giving a retrospect in the first leg of the quarterfinals and the second leg of the quarterfinals, just as we've had it yesterday. Just a brief, intro about yesterday's game and that of last week's game.
Big game for Arsenal yesterday. It's something that many of us didn't see coming. Nobody expected Arsenal to defeat Real Madrid, both home and away. So it's a moment to celebrate for all Arsenal fans, and for Real Madrid, really, it's a point for them to work on themselves more because they are defending champions, and signing Kylian Mbappe during the summer window was something that should be bringing in more advantage to this team. But so far, we have noticed that it didn't pay off yesterday. Both the first leg, the second leg, and Mbappe didn't turn up. Not just Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior. So many speculations, or let me say, how would I put it right now? They had this Remo data, whatever they call this thing. Yeah, that happened yesterday. But none of those voodoos worked yesterday. So basically, big one for Mikel Arteta, the coach of Arsenal. So far, so good. Nobody saw them beating Real Madrid home and away. Yes, some of us expected Arsenal to win because on current form, if you check the two sides, how they perform in the La Liga and the Premier League, Arsenal are the better team. But for Arsenal, defeating Real Madrid home and away, it's a big one for the Gunners.
I think we lost Ebuka there. Adedamola, going straight to you. How do you? Yeah, Ebuka was talking about Arteta and his game management. Okay, I think he's back. We continue, Ebuka.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I think the Arsenal defeated Real Madrid 2006, way back. That was when we had the likes of Thierry Henry, when Arsenal still played at the Hybrid Stadium. So going fast forward towards this particular period, it's a big one and a very big win for the Gunners, basically. So you have to give it up to the Gunners, give it up to Arsenal. They fought so much in this game, both home and away. In the home, when they played at the Emirates, they were attacking and defending at the same time. Yesterday, they didn't attack so much, but they defended very, very, very well. The last time Arsenal conceded 3 goals was way back in 2003 against Luton Town. Yesterday, they played against Real Madrid, and so far, one of the, how would I put it right now? One of the talking points we had was the absence of Gabriel Magalhaes. He had an injury before this particular game, and we felt that, okay, Arsenal will be one man short in this game. But then Kiwiyo came in yesterday. Kiwiyo had a spectacular game. Spectacular game. And who is Kiwiyo? If you check football rankings, who is Kiwiyo to have a spectacular game against the likes of Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, Mbappe, and even Bellingham? But then you have to give it up to Mikel Arteta, the coach of the side. When a team does very well, you praise the coach. When they fail, you also blame the coach. So right now that Arteta is doing very well in the Champions League, let's give it up to Mikel Arteta. Back to you, David Bolarinwa.
Right. Thank you very much for that brief introduction into the game between Arsenal and Real Madrid. And let's go to Adedamola. Yeah, you are an Arsenal fan, and Ebuka has touched a little about the coach Mikel Arteta himself. What would you have said was, the key instrument or the key technicality he used to, defeating Real Madrid, 15-time Champions League winner, who were obviously favorites to winning the competition, home and away?
All right, thank you, David. First thing I wanted to mention was that I think on the last show that we did, I made a prediction that we were going to win the game 2-1, and it came to pass. Basically, from understanding the way the game would go, I think it was obvious that the way Real Madrid play, they cannot do it without defenders. We looked at the game yesterday. Mbappe tried a lot, but Saliba was just on him the whole time, and they could not really create anything. This was, committed a mistake by Saliba, who approached the game very, very well. When you look at the tactics that we went into the game with, the main thing was that we tried to pick our battles, and in games like this, that's what you have to do. You sit back when you have to, and then you push when you have to. So, understanding the game, understanding how the game was flowing, understanding that we could not give them too much time on the ball, but that we also had to attack them in periods as well. Helped us very, very well. So I think, as Ebuka said, the coach was recommended, but I also think that a lot of the players yesterday were at a very superb level, especially when you consider that it's at the Santiago Bernabeu, and things like this could bring pressure on you, and even if you were, you had all the tactics, you have everything, you still need as players to step up to the level of stadium that you're playing at. And against big names yesterday, I can say that a lot of the Arsenal players were really, really good in following the instructions and doing what they were supposed to do. And in sealing the round, we didn't expect that we were going to win both home and away, but we'll take it.
Thank you, Mr. Adedamola. Let's not forget that there was a second game yesterday, even if the highlights of yesterday's game was that between Arsenal and Real Madrid. Well, painful to Real Madrid. All of the voodoos and all of the chantings, and I even saw yesterday where they were performing a certain ritual. They were burning up something and having their chants, but all of those are not practical on the football field. Bye bye, Real Madrid. As of yesterday, well, they played at home, so we can't say they are going home, or they would have landed in Spain. They are at home already. And bye-bye to Real Madrid. 15 times Champions League winners. Well, it's not about how much you have, it's about what you can deliver on the field of play. And let's go to how much you can deliver on the field of play. Talking about Inter versus Bayern Munich. That game saw a 2-2 draw. Yes, but Inter Milan having won with a goal difference away. That was against Bayern Munich in Germany last week. They qualified. And the star of the moment, who everyone believes has been robbed of probably a Ballon d'Or chance or something, Lautaro Martinez, again, stepped up to prove that he is the man for Inter. Ebuka, can you speak about the match against Inter versus Bayern Munich yesterday?
Big game for Inter Milan in yesterday and even in the first leg. But then again, before we kudos Inter Milan so much in this game, we have to kudos Bayern. Yes, because Vincent Kompany coming into this particular fixture, barrage of injuries to 50% of the first team squad. So many of them had injuries going into this game. So you have to even give it to Vincent Company, this is his first time coaching a big club side as Bayern. If you count the number of big teams in Europe that has won the Champions League in current years, Bayern has to be part of this particular team. So for him to have coached Bayern to this point and playing against a team like Inter Milan, Inter Milan currently are top in the Premier abilities, they did very well. But then coming back to Inter Milan yesterday, that man talking about Lautaro Martinez, he has shown time and again, not just in the club team, even in the national team for Argentina. This man has been representing. Check his goal when they played the last one at the Allianz Award in that game, talking about Lautaro Martinez. So once you count players in form currently in Europe, Lautaro Martinez is one of them. Akan Chanoglu, beautiful assist from Chanoglu yesterday to make sure that Inter Milan have all the advantage in that particular game. So basically, Harry Kane, he has to wait probably next season to win the Champions League. Because there is this hurricane course hanging somewhere. So hopefully that course will be broken this season, because so far so good. It looks like the Bayern Munich would win the Bundesliga this season. But speaking about other titles, probably Hurricane has to wait for probably next season. But in the game yesterday, Bayern were the better side yesterday. But just like Real Madrid, the question was, can they keep a clean sheet? Yesterday, obviously, they didn't keep that clean sheet because some of their first team defenders were injured. Not an excuse for a big team like Bayern. It's basically not an excuse. It's not an excuse. Upamecano was injured prior to that game. In fact, he got injured even before the first leg. So it's not an excuse because it is still Bayern. No matter the player you filled up, you are still playing against Bayern Munich. But then, kudos to them. They tried as much as they can. But Inter Milan, so far so good. We're the better team.
Right. Adedamola, what would you have said was, the let's say the highlights of that game for Inter Milan, going into that game knowing that yes, we are in Milan, yes, we're in San Siro, yes, we have the upper hand even from the first leg, but we are also going against a side who over and over again in the Champions League have always want to, stamp their grounds and always want to prove difficult, even if we know, yes, Bayern Munich, they are difficult. But that highlights for Inter Milan yesterday, the resilience in Inter Milan yesterday, and they're showing it again and again that they are a team to contend with. We said it last week on the show that Inter Milan are proven to be a team to contend with over and over again every year in the Champions League.
Yeah, I think with the way the competition is now, with the new rules, the no away goal, and all of the other things that they try to bring into the game, I think if you have a lead in the first leg, all you have to do in the second leg is to ensure that you score. And Inter yesterday they were able to deliver 2 goals, responding to Bayern's 1 goal that they scored. So it's really about how many goals can you score over the 2 days. And if you look at most of the games, if you look at Baka, if you look at Inter Bayern yesterday, if you look at PSG Aston Villa, except for Real Madrid, Arsenal really floored them. All of the other games were very close, and it was about who scored the most goals. So if you're able to score the most goals, which Inter was over the 2 days, you can look towards qualifying. And I think that will also be the same when you look at the semi-finals coming up. It's going to be about how many goals can you score and can you concede less. And I think Inter yesterday, they were very, very fantastic. They conceded 2, but they also scored 2. So the attack was very good. Bayern too, because they to go forward in the place.
Right. Thank you very much, Adedamola. Let's not forget that Barcelona also witnessed their first defeat in 2025, having, come off 24, I think 24 victories or draw. They've not been beaten this year, 2025. But against Dortmund at home, uh, they suffered their first defeat of the year. And again, you mentioned it was who scored first. And yes, Barcelona were able to concede. They conceded the first goal. And even while trying to fight back, they conceded the third goal, leading to a 3-1 defeat for Barca. But yes, they qualified. Talk about that, Ebusman. Barcelona now, even though qualified, they have their first loss of the season. I think we lost Ebuka there. Adedamola, can you join us, please?
Yeah. Barcelona, as I said before, they, they made sure that they score as much as so that in the second leg you don't have to worry. If you didn't take your chances in the first leg, or you when you get coming for you. So they did their best. Whereas you had chances in the first, that was a problem for you. You are not able to score when you had the chances in any of the legs. It's going to cause a problem for you overall in the series. So I think Barcelona probably signs of shakiness, but you can't really force them. They already had the four goal lead, and that was going to be tough to overcome for Dortmund. So I think Barcelona will probably try to fix some of the issues that came up over the two legs and try and win the competition.
All right, I think Ebuka is back. What would you have said to the previous game, Barcelona versus Dortmund, and even Aston Villa versus PSG?
For the game between Barcelona and Dortmund, I think it was done and dusted in the first leg. Basically, 4-0. You will not expect a big team as Barcelona to come into the second leg with so much attacking prowess in that game. So I guess there was a bit of like a lackadaisical attitude from the players because they felt that, well, it's 4-0. We don't have to do so much. All we just needed in that game was to just score one goal. That was all. That was the mentality coming into that game. Barcelona felt just getting one goal is enough. Because yes, 4-0 is a lot. So getting a goal is just enough. So I guess that was the mentality coming into that game against Borussia Dortmund. Then for Borussia Dortmund, well, they left the battle too little, too late. This same battle they were fighting at the Signal Iduna Park, they should have started that same battle at the Camp Nou. If they had gotten a goal away from home, it would not be as difficult as it's not be as difficult as it is currently. So not getting any goal put them at a bigger disadvantage coming into that fixture. So Barcelona knew what they wanted to do. Barcelona knew what they had to do, and that was what they did in that game. Then moving on to the game between Aston Villa and PSG, it was a game that Aston Villa should have won that game basically, because I was rooting for Aston Villa in that game. If you had those two teams, you should know that Aston Villa were the better team on the day. But then the coach of the side, Unai Emery, for whatsoever reason, he was thinking of removing Marcus Rashford in that game. Rashford was the better player, not just the better player, was the best player for Aston Villa in that game. So why take off a Marcus Rashford? Yes, you needed goals. You could have removed someone else to bring in Oli Watkins. But taking off Rashford in that game and bringing in Watkins killed off the attack. Rashford was everywhere, on the left, on the right, in the middle. Rashford was everywhere. He was a tormentor in chief in that game. So taking off Rashford was a big minus in that game, and I felt it affected them towards getting another goal in that game. But then, give and take, not Unai Emery right now. Luis Enrique has done enough for PSG, and yeah, home and away, they deserve to qualify. They deserve to qualify. Thank you.
All right. So we have our semi-finalists and we have the final four. We'll be having PSG taking on Arsenal, and we will be having FC Barcelona taking on Inter Milan. Let's go to the Arsenal, man. What do you presume of this game? Arsenal facing PSG, who we know has been ruthless ever since the beginning of this campaign.
Yes,
Adedamola.
I think it's going to be a tough two-leg series, considering how much better PSG has gotten over the months. But I think Arsenal probably win. Then first, that's going to be the problem, maybe. I think it's going to be very interesting. If you look at the semi-final, playing as a different team. So I think that
All right. Adedamola there pushing that Arsenal will go through. Bushman, what would you consider already top match for Barca, Inter Milan? We've seen them face off sometimes ago. I think last season, I think they also faced off, which obviously Barca to drop to Inter Milan. What would you say would be the outcome of this event?
It's going to be tricky. Arsenal has defeated PSG in the group stage, so the PSG that played Arsenal in that group stage, it's a different kind of PSG. The PSG of now are ruthless and they score a lot of goals. But then Arsenal on the other side are a team that are riding on so much confidence. The belief of we are going to win this there's a belief that comes with winning the Champions League. The same belief Chelsea had way back. I think this Arsenal squad has that same belief that bring any team. If you can recall, before this fixture of Real Madrid came up, Arsenal wanted Real Madrid. Arsenal actually wanted Real Madrid. So defeating Real Madrid was not a shock to many Arsenal fans because they knew they can defeat Real Madrid. So PSG, now give and take. On current form, PSG are better than Arsenal on current form right now. The French Ligue 1, the Coupe de France, the Champions League, PSG are the better side. On current form, PSG are better because they are still unbeaten this season. I'm not sure PSG has lost a game this season. Whereas for Arsenal have lost games. But then the Champions League is a whole cattle of fish, basically. But then if you ask me, I think it's a given for Arsenal. If Arsenal do not defeat PSG, I will see it as an upset. Luis Enrique has done spectacular with this PSG team. Has done spectacular. I support a team in France too, so I watch the French Ligue 1. I support Brest in France. Brest surprised everybody last season by qualifying for the Champions League. You might laugh all you want, but Brest qualified for the Champions League. They did very well in the French league. Brest did very well. But then this season, Brest has fallen somehow. But hopefully next week Brest will rise again. Brest will rise again next season.
Hopefully, hopefully,
Hopefully,
Brest will
yes.
rise again.
Hopefully.
And
But then I give it to Arsenal. Arsenal to
let's.
win.
He said, okay.
I give it to Arsenal. Arsenal to win PSG and qualify to the finals.
All right. Let's look at this game today. We will be having the Europa League, and a lot of high top matches are here to look out for. We have Man United facing Lyon. The upset of the game last week, which we saw Man United shockingly, or most expectedly for many others, that they wouldn't win that match, and indeed they ended up drawing that match in the most shocking fashion uh, many fans will ever think of. In the nick of time, Leon dropped the second goal, which made that match end 2-2. And we'll be seeing Lazio face Bodo. Bodo, again, another upset, defeating Lazio 2-0. I think we had a break right there. The questions were lost at a bit. But talking about the Europe tonight, we also have Frankfurt versus Tottenham. The game also ended 1-1 in a very still draw. That was last week. And we have Atletico Bilbao versus Rangers, which also ended in a draw, 0-0. And Adedamola, how would you be placing tonight's Europa League future?
Yeah, unlike the Premier League, the I would say the Conference League hasn't been that interesting. But the Europa League has had some, especially the Manchester United game. I think my prediction would be that Lyon will. I don't think well, in Europa. So it was they're also struggling to start. They're probably going to start Onana since the replacement didn't over the weekend. So, Lyon to go to, I forgot what the other game was. I think that one was Bordeaux's win and 2-0 win. I think the other team should probably try and make a comeback. Those 2-0s are not easy to overcome, but
Lazio, Bodo, yeah?
I don't think Lazio have enough. At least score 2 goals, maybe take it to extra time, and they will see. Tottenham, I don't really expect much from them. They are 15th in the Premier League. That shows you their season. So Frankfurt should probably have more than them if the game goes their way. So Frankfurt will win that one. The Conference League, I'm not really impressed at how it has gone. But things like Tottenham, Manchester United, they should be seeking to win both of these games. But if you look at their performances in the league, you can't really expect much from them since they are like in the bottom half. So Chelsea, probably they're also going to be looking at going to the final of the Conference League since they are probably the best team. So we'll see how the results go.
Right. Let's hope for better results in the European League for tonight. Ebusman, are you with us? Can you hear us, Ebuka? I doubt that. All right. That's for today on the show. We've seen. Okay, before we even go, Damola, what would be your prediction for today's game? Seeing Man United, let's pick a few games. Man United drew their game against Lyon last week, 2-2 draw there. What would you say tonight's game will look like? Who would be progressing in the 4 games? Who do you think will be progressing for Man United? Lyon should progress. Okay, for Lazio
Yeah.
versus Bodo Glimt, knowing Bodo
Lazio.
has a 2-goal advantage.
Let me,
All right.
I'll probably go with it.
Okay. Frankfurt Tottenham. We won 1 draw last week. Frankfurt should go. All right. For Bilbao Rangers, they have a 0-0 draw. It's a playing ground. Wow. All right. We have fixed final four
That one
finalists for
it's
from
interesting.
Adedamola there. He's saying Bilbao. He's pushing Bilbao, Frankfurt, Lazio, and Lyon to go through. All right, that's what we have for you today on the show. My name remains David Bolarinwa. Adedamola, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, David. It was a good show.
All right, I think we lost Ebuka right at the nick of time, but thank you, Ebuka, for joining us. It was a pleasure. It is a pleasure having you on the show. Till we meet again next week, please stay safe and enjoy the Europa League. Bye bye.